is Morgan, and I recently had my heart broken. So I did what any logical person would do.
What did you do?
I made a podcast about it.
Why?
Because no matter who you are or where you're from, when you get dumped, everybody's talking about it.
Are they, bitch?
Famously Dumped. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Famously Dumped. Hello, I'm your host, Morgan Miller, and this is the show where we talk about getting dumped, okay? About relationships that we did not choose, where the significant other dumped us. And I'm excited to have you guys here today. As always, we check in with me before the show starts. And we don't decide, but we figure out how I'm feeling. And you know what I'm feeling today, guys, is tired. I'm very tired today. It's not the best emotion. It's not the most descriptive, but I'm tired. So, but you know, it's going to wake me up as an episode of Famously Dumped. And you know, I love this dang show. So let's just get to it. You guys, our guest today is so fun. He's such a great comedian. I met him in New York. This is Usama Siddiquee, and you may know him from America's Got Talent. Ever heard of it? And I can't wait to have him on the show. So Brandon, bring him in.
Love the intro. You sounded like I married your best friend that you wanted to marry. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's been on America's Got Talent. Let's give it up. Give it up.
Hey, listen. We any credit for me, I'm your hype woman, okay?
Hell yeah.
Your hype woman with that.
Hell yeah.
So glad to have you here. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. You know I love you.
Let's get started. Welcome to Famously Dumped. So we're going to talk about a time that you got dumped.
There we go.
Before we get started, we don't use our exes' names because we're not like trying to bash them and This is all about like us and how we got through a breakup. So to give you an alias for your
I was thinking bitch, maybe. What do you think? Dirty hoe.
We can do bitch or dirty hoe. Or Brandon, bring up the slide. We're gonna help you out a little bit. You can pick from the top.
One of these is the name of my ex, which is kind of crazy.
Oh my god, that's crazy. We're talking ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend?
Ex-girlfriend.
Got it.
That is insane how that is. Let's call her. Which one is like the woman who's the most hateable in the story? Like what name I'm looking at is the most hair? Let's go Vivienne.
Vivienne.
Nobody likes a Vivienne. Yeah.
And we will pronounce it Vivienne. And that's true. And great. Yeah, if you're pronouncing it Vivienne like that, then great. So we're gonna get into why you want to call her bitch and all of that. Listen, I get it. Okay, cool. So Vivienne. So now before we get started, we do a little overview with a segment that we call Dump Stats.
Dump stats. Dump stats. Dump stats. These are the dump stats.
Original music by yours truly because we don't have rights to music.
This is so dumb. I love it.
How many times have you been dumped?
One. This is the one.
Wow. Okay.
I'm pretty good in a relationship. I'm not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Next, have you ever dumped someone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many?
Oh yeah. If I told you the number, I would kick off the show. I feel like it's like you're part of the problem, bitch.
Oh, we've had guests. We had some people be like, too many, so many, millions.
I will dump from boyfriend girlfriend energy dumped. That's like 5. I think.
Like 5. That's not a lot. We've had more.
So dumping in terms of like fuck energy or like fuck, that's a whole different situation.
That's a whole different story. Well, yeah, we're talking substantial dumps. Cool. Great.
Substantial Indian food dumps. Got it.
Great. For the dump that happened with Vivienne, how long ago did this happen?
This is 3 years ago.
3?
Yeah.
How old were you when this happened?
Okay, that's 26.
26. All right, before your Saturn return.
Yeah,
and
yes.
Yep. And then how long were you and Vivienne together?
1 year.
1 year. Okay, that's a solid
Yeah.
relationship at 26. And great. So 2 more. Let's see. How are you feeling emotionally about the breakup right now?
Relieved about the breakup, but still can feel some discomfort at the idea of even seeing her in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if I saw her at a grocery store, it'd be like weird. I'd be like, ugh, shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And kind of some anger still, maybe?
Resentment for sure. I won't say it's anger. Anger is a little bit on the other side. It's definitely a bit of discomfortable and resentment.
Yeah.
For her energy. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I'm still in that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh boy, I can feel this getting more and more intense. Like slowly, like opening the mall.
We're opening it. Yeah.
Come on in.
There's a method to the madness. All right. Last card. Did you go full psycho when it happened?
Sure. I mean, there was moments of full psycho, like little full psycho Tourette's, as they say. You know, so I had a little bit of like, duh, and then I go like, oh, Usama, you know that thing. Right, where you bring it back immediately, like you start speaking Spanish, tranquilo. It's like, what? Why am I speaking Spanish to myself? Definitely have those moments of pure, like a little micro moment of just like, duh, and then I just reel it back in, which could be, I guess, still psycho, right? Like in that sense. I
think it also could maybe even be considered more psycho.
Sure.
So depending on what therapist is talking me through it.
Depending on your sliding scale.
Yes. Exactly. Great. Well, those are your dump stats. We're gonna go over them really quick, just so that everyone can remember. So, you have been dumped one time. This is the one and only time.
Mm-hmm.
You've dumped around 5 people. For this one, it happened 3 years ago. You were 26 years old. You guys were together 1 year. Today you're feeling relieved, but some discomfort and resentment is coming up. Mm-hmm. And that seems very fair. And then last there were you, as you said, moments of full psycho. And as I will say, maybe that makes it even more psycho. Sure. Let's just start. We really quickly just want to know how you guys met and how it started and then how good it was. Just sort of an overview.
Sure. This is on the circuit. You know, you're a comic, you meet people everywhere. So if you do a good show, if you hit a show hard, you know, it could really be good for you that night, right? So this is one of those like good sets, you know, you're feeling it, Morgan, you're hitting the right, you're laughing at setups. You're laughing at setups, Morgan, right? And you're laughing at the setup, you're about to get domestically abused by this punchline, yeah? So it was one of those where like, you know, I like the room had to file a report because I really fucked it.
Your humbleness always shocks
me. Love it. I was that good. Chappelle called me, was like, "Who are you?" That was amazing. Can I?
He does that often. He does that often. He'll give you just a quick call after show.
Can I get some advice real quick, man? That was amazing. I was good that day. We've seen me bomb. That's why I can say these things. We've all seen each other in the worst.
Oh yeah, hey babe, I've also slayed. Okay. You know what
I'm saying? So it was one of those after set kind of talks. You know, I'm hanging out. There's nothing more cool than a comic post-kill chilling outside, right? Just that vibe. You're hanging out with your boys, post-kill, your friends, and your kill comedy show. Mm-hmm. So then they come out, and this girl was like super cute, super vibes, super like just like funny, you know, like. And I love when a girl is like kind of being quicker than you at night. You're like, oh, I did all my work right there. Now she's throwing me some shit. I'm like, oh my, whoa. Yeah. You know, that turns me on a lot, you know. So she was doing a lot of that stuff that really gets me, like super cute, kind of compact, you know, blonde hair, hello, right? European, but not so much that you hate black people. You know how Belgians get, right? So it was that kind of good energy. And I didn't, you know, that night we went out. It was just vibes. She also liked Zelda, which is a video game I used to love growing up. So that connection, like all these different types of connections were starting to happen. And I was just like, who the fuck is this, right? And then
Zelda is the baseline for love.
Dude, I was bereft. I was undone, you know, after I heard the Zelda thing. Mm-hmm. And so we blah, if you know what I mean. We did the whole deal. And then,
I'm assuming that's sex.
No. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course. No, we said blah, blah, blah to each other.
During sex.
Blah, 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 blah. And yada, yada,
yeah.
So it's all good, and we woke up the next day, and when you wake up the next day, and then you kind of know, like, oh, I like this person, I want to stay with this person or not. The sex was too good, which I always am worried about. Because when the sex is too good, it's like that means we're both dealing with some weird trauma maybe that isn't fixed, and then that we use the sex to like really play it out. And that's the really good sex, right? There's good sex with connection and love and good vibes, and then there's the really good where it's like we're both unhinged, and right. And so it was that kind of sex, and then slowly there starts the blow ups. I'm not a perfect guy by any means, obviously, and the fact that I even said that means I'm fucking lame. That I'm not a perfect guy, even though y'all think I am. But one thing I will say is that I'm very carefree in a relationship, very easy vibe, to a fault even. The energy going negative started becoming more and more frequent. So like we'd be chilling, small thing would happen, and then just like bah, right? And I always came back. I'm always like, when she's good, she's good. It's all good. It's all good. The camel that broke the back was the camel that broke the humps, whatever.
Straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes, straw. Yeah. The glass that broke the camel's.
The camel that sat on a glass.
The shards that caused hemorrhoids in the camel's back. I was in Vegas doing a couple of shows, and I was coming back. I come back. The moment I come back from the airport, she calls me. She's like, I need you here right now. I'm like, where are you? She's like, I need you here. I'm like, where's here? I'm on 3rd and West Village or something. She was just in a random outdoor place. I'm like, I need you right now. I think someone's fed me something and I'm freaking weird. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, okay, I got you. I don't know what's going on. But she's like, he's coming now. Right, just screaming on the phone. I need you right here. I'm just like off flight. I'm coming home. I'm like, I'll be there. I take my luggage. I go. I try to find her for an hour. She's not there. Well, she tells me she's there. And then we go back to her place, and then we go in front of her door, and then she starts just like hammering. She's like, you never text enough. You care about comedy more than you. Not wrong. You care about you don't give a fuck. You never text. You have this girl's tits on your phone. So we were in an open thing, and she saw the tits once, and I was like, we're open, but she's like, fuck the tits for even being there. I'm like, oh fuck. So I'm not saying I'm right in that, that just happened to be there.
Just got caught.
Right, I got caught, right? But it's an open thing. So
you can have a tit pic if it's open.
Right, but I guess you always gotta have communication with open stuff, right? You always gotta make sure everyone knows what the rules are. I guess one of the rules was don't have girls' stuff on your phone that I can see. All right, I didn't know. Now I know. Right. So she brought that back, right? All this shit.
Yeah, don't make the background of your phone the tits that you were.
I don't think, and especially not my mom's tits, which is what before. So yeah, it was crazy. It was all this energy. She starts like accosting people walking by, like, "Hey, come here, tell me if this is right." And she starts engaging this person in conversation, and then she said this thing that was like so insane that she'd be like, "Yeah, well, sometimes he like gets angry and like I'm scared he's gonna rough me up," and I'm like, "What the fuck? Never." Yeah. I'm like this bitch all the time, like, "Hey." But it's a thing that would make everyone on your side, right? So then they give me a glare, and they're like, what? And this shit's going crazy. It's just going crazy. All this fake shit's coming off, and fake energy of like, this guy's like a trauma inducer, and all this shit is like, what the fuck? Like the toxicity is just like metastasizing, right? Mm-hmm. And what do you do? When someone says something toxic to you, and you come back and say no, you always look guilty. There's no way you can say no unless you have a video of her beating you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you can't. Right. So I'm like in the space, I'm like, no, this is not true. What the? And people are walking by, and I'm just totally out of options. I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, you know what? Get the fuck out. Just get the fuck out. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I fucking leave. And at this point, 8, 9, 10 people think I'm like an insane dude. And I walk back home. And then she calls me when I walk in. She's like, sorry, and I was like, click, done. I was just like, no. You dumped me. It's over. No more. Block the number. All that shit is done. And I just like haven't even talked to her in a year or two.
Total cut for 3 years. So yeah, wow. So obviously, clearly, of course, you still have resentment. The last interaction you had was psychotic.
Is it obvious?
Yeah, it sounds like she had a break and was like had an episode. She sounds like, honestly, she sounds like me at about 25. So,
okay. All right. Insane.
Vivian, you know what? We stand at that moment, but you did snap.
See, hers was thyroid, yours was mercury, right? So you used planets, she used glands, same shit.
I used the stars. Yeah. I sat in return. I was supposed to be, God, if you knew the Mormon Primes before I got sober, how fucking crazy.
Morgan.
Ooh, lots of I threw a phone a couple times, shattered a couple times. Oh, yeah. I've since become a little bit better. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect, as you've said. Wow, sounds chaos. So the main thing that we like to talk about after it happened, what happened, how did you feel, and how did you recover from this like crazy getting dumped to like total cutoff?
So what I tried to do was just go straight into comedy, tenfold, you know. That is always the outlet. If I'm happy, I do comedy. If I'm sad, I do comedy. If I'm angry, doubtful, comedy is the anchor and it makes everything congruent to my own soul. Yeah. And it's the great equalizer in my body. And so I just went balls deep, taint deep. I went taint deep in comedy. I really went in, tried to go as far, like every day, right, staying there, and just kind of in an unhealthy way almost, you know, like it was definitely not a fun thing for a little bit. I was not having fun with comedy. I was just doing it with all my soul because I couldn't look at my own soul. And so there was a time when I had to stop, and it was like on a trip. It was on a trip with my family to Denver, and because I couldn't do any comedy, it forced me. It was the first moment where I was like, fuck, like when you slow everything down, everything kind of hits you like a freight train, right?
Yeah, totally.
So that happened. Luckily, there was a lake in front of me, you know what I'm saying? So I was like in Denver, but I was like, fuck, and I saw a lake, sat at that lake for, I think, 9 hours. The whole day I just sat there and just, it's like, okay. Reconfigure. What's important? What are you doing? What's going on? And I kind of got myself back in that Denver trip.
What hit you to the point where you're like, I'm going to be okay?
It was the idea that it had been so long and that I actually hadn't even seen her in so long that it's like I was giving a ghost power. And when I realized that little part of it, like, you haven't seen this person. So why is this person affecting you? She's not in your life. Yeah. So the fact that you're giving this specter of a human your entire energy, that's such a stupid thing to do, because it's like affecting people from the dead. It's sins of your fathers, you know, like, it's not a real thing.
How long was it after the breakup that you had this Denver moment? I'm from Denver, by the way, so.
Oh, fuck. But a good number of months. It was like 7, 8.
Oh, so like, okay.
Months,
okay.
Maybe, yeah. Like,
I'm at 8 months, and I feel like I am also finally, because we did a break. I haven't looked at social media. It's been like a clear break where I'm like, okay, this is feeling more and more like, it is so interesting to hear you say the word ghost, because she's starting to feel like a ghost, like that needs to stop haunting me. And
it's like you get to get gain strength to be like, fuck you, ghost.
Yeah.
Because there's some supernatural energy you give to that thing, that specter. It's like this, maybe I deserve it. Maybe if I don't have it, who am I? Maybe you give the ghost your own identity. Like, I am a person who's getting dumped. This is who I am right now. Without it, I'm just flotsam. And I think to like kind of stay away from that too, because then the idea here, the real rebellion is, I am myself. I am in my own journey, and that's okay, and nothing else needs to be on me. That's a brave thing to say, that I am enough and I am okay just being this. That's insane. It's an insane thing and powerful thing to say, that I'm okay right here, right now, with me.
Yeah. Yes. When you sit and you're like, I think I'm okay being me. Because it sounds like what I had is like pretty big codependent stuff where I was like, she creates me. I always was like, she's not the reason I have happiness, and I don't need her validation. I'm a fucking comic and I'm badass and like all this stuff. And the second they leave, you're like, I'm nothing.
Yes,
I'm nothing. I'm actually worse. I'm terrible. I'm a bad person.
It's like a Molly come down. So when you're on Molly, ooh, that thing can go wrong. I want to kill myself. Like that thing, it's never like a chill drop.
Yes.
It hits you, bam, fuck. Right?
Oh my God. What an amazing, honestly, analogy that I understand. So the number of horrible Molly come downs I've had.
The amount of times I've barfed in front of Webster Hall, I can't tell you.
I agree. Becoming to a place where you're like, okay, actually, no. Like, I can validate myself. I'm actually good myself. But it takes time and it takes reflection is what it feels like you said. And that's the same with me. Is there one, like, overarching general advice that you give to someone who went through a breakup similar as yours, which seems like the girl went real fucking crazy, and it was
so
a hard cut.
Whoa, hold on 1 second. Hi, before we get to the overall advice, my name's Morgan Miller. You've just been watching me this whole time. I'm the host of Famously Dumped, and I've got a couple of things I got to tell you before we finish up the episode. One, we have an email account, famouslydumped@gmail.com, where you can email me. Maybe you have comments, questions for our guests, questions for me. Maybe you have advice for our listeners, or maybe you have a story about getting dumped that you want to tell me about. So please email me there. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll put it on the podcast. 2, you can donate to the show, which is great. How can you donate? At our Venmo, which is famously_dumped, or you can go on over to my Patreon account, which is patreon.com/MorganMiller1717. Over on my Patreon will live bonus episodes, uncut episodes, and other comedy material that I'm coming out with that will strictly be on Patreon, okay? So head on over there. And finally, don't forget to follow me on social media. Yes, I'm doing a social media plug. Come on, it's 2021. Let's get to it. My social media is MorganMiller17 across the board. And also, I'm on TikTok. Yes, I'm in my 30s. I have TikTok. I kind of blew up over there. So go check me out. That's Morgan Miller Talks, TOKS. And that's about it. You guys, let's get back to the episode. Enough for me. Bring us on back.
You get so dependent in a relationship that you forget that you are enough. And it gets so locked into your brain and heart that you can't fathom existence where you are enough. And I would really start with a mantra for a lot of these people who get broken up. It's like, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm growing. This is not me becoming lesser. This is me becoming greater. This is not me becoming lesser. Like, this is not me getting smaller. It's me getting bigger. It's like all these things are true because you are growing from this and you are getting better from this and you are growing from this. So all those things really do factor in. And the idea we have to put is putting value on that. It's an American idea to not put value on growth and not put value on learning from failure. But having the idea of like, I'm losing something. I'm like human relationships become material goods in Western culture. A lot of it, right? It's like you lose a girlfriend, you lose your favorite TV, basically, right? It's just an object, and not looking at any of this as objects but as energy flow. There was a break, and now your energy is going this way, and you understand where it's going, and you use that to come back to a center. But you take the lessons from where your energy was back into the center. And it's like going on a trip. It's going on a trip, and you're coming home now. And looking at it like that as just another stop on the trip, as opposed to the end of my life. And it's all about repurposing your brain and reaffirming your own cognition. And it's a lot of work. It's muscle. It's the muscle of cognition. And a lot of people don't. America doesn't value that. The muscle of cognition, the muscle of reflection. It's not ever in classes, not ever in schools. So we don't value it, and we have to learn it all on our own. So it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's crazy. What do other cultures, do you think they value that?
Oh, yeah. Eastern philosophies, all about everything is just a learning experience. You detach yourself from the event. You detach yourself from yourself experiencing it. It's all about detachment and stop being so engaged in the material goods of the day and the ephemeral. It's all about that. Bhutan has like the happiest country in the world, apparently. The happiness index is super high. Why? Because they talk about all these things that we shove under the rug. They talk about death a lot. They talk about mortality, loss, losing something, losing a friendship. All that stuff is like very in the culture. And I think when you make it more of a friend and not a specter. Like you make loss your friend, you start to love loss, you start to love pain. Like, oh, this pain is a new opportunity as opposed to a taking of. I think those repurposings in your brain can really help you. It's a start, I think, to a healthier life. Does that make any sense? Or do Molly, one of those two.
So yeah, it's all about repurposing the way your mind is, and I think that's so fucking interesting and cool that like in our culture it is like relationships are the end all be all, and also like I learned that like pain is the cornerstone of growth.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people don't think of it that way.
It's such an anti-American idea. It really is, because all about everything we do, right? Participation trophies. Get this college. Get this and you'll get this. And if you get this girl, you'll be this happy. You fuck more, you'll be more cool. You get skinnier, you get more hot. All these things, like if you do this, you'll get more love in society, as opposed to how about growth is the currency? And what is growth? The only thing that makes growth is pain, is conflict, inner conflict, and reflecting on it. It's the only thing. And valuing it is the first step to actually doing it, right? And to value it, nothing in our culture makes us value that. Nothing in our culture leads us to that. Well, we have to do it on some singular shit. Talk to somebody, do a podcast, fucking read the book, read a random book. Like I never ever heard anybody in America be like, I was in the school system and in 8th grade they taught us about self-growth. What? Right? Never, right?
Yeah, no.
If you do drugs, you're a Nazi. That's all.
Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah.
So, it's a heavily a failing of our school system. I definitely, other cultures do not have this. A lot of Buddhist cultures have like Buddhism in the curriculum, and it's so much more about the religion, but the tenets we can learn from, 100%. And so the idea that pain is growth and it should be followed, not just accepted, but loved and pursued. That's a whole different idea.
Yeah. And not only school, I think ingrained in like my parents never really taught me that. They were like, the second I would get sad, they were like, no, we don't talk about that.
Boom.
They're like, no, you go to therapy to talk about that. And also like, Morgan, you're good at like all these things. Why are you sad? And I'm like, help me. And my parents are like, no, go get a scholarship and play sports at college. And I'm like, okay.
You want some Adderall? You want some heroin? What do you need? We love you.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, what an interesting concept that like we hear of. I mean, sorry to say it, like failed at like teaching the youth to like embrace pain and like follow that and like instead of like shove it down. I feel like a lot, especially for me, it feels a lot very male energy to be like shove that down.
Of course. If a kid is like gets a problem right, we say awesome job getting that problem right? Yeah. Awesome job acquiring the answer to that problem. We never say, dude, I'm so happy that you worked so hard to get the problem. Yeah. I'm so happy that you fought your way to get the problem. We always say, great job on the problem, on getting it right. And now there's that currency of right is the idea, not the work to get there. So it's very nefarious, very small ways we pepper this idea of acquisition being king throughout our entire lives.
Yeah. So interesting. And I love a good mantra. I have, affirmations. I have affirmations stuck on my mirror that I say to myself. I'm loved. I love myself. I'm good enough. And like people think that's crazy and whatever, but like that shit works. Like
I have some. Mine are like white power. All lives matter. JK.
And those will come true if you say
believe.
We're gonna get you out of here, but we have a couple ending segments that we like to end on, which are kind of silly and fun. So that first segment is Brandon.
Here we go.
And now, time for horoscopes.
All right, this section is horoscopes.
Let's go.
All right, so this is the time where we figure out if you were doomed from the start due to your horoscopes, because I'm obsessed with astrology, as we've kind of gotten through, and I believe that all of it's true and accurate, and that we need to check our signs before we start dating someone. Okay. So what is your sign?
Oh boy. Because I'm not saying I believe it fully, but I'm saying I'm a disbeliever either. So this is actually kind of intense. I do believe in the plane, definitely the plane, the extra plane.
Yes.
So I'm a Aries.
Of course you are.
Come on, everyone does this to me.
You're totally an Aries. You're so rooted and man, I fucking know. That's Aries energy.
And no one's ever been like, but you're a Gemini. Everyone's been like, fucking dead ringer, bitch. And I'm like,
yes.
Okay, all right.
Yep, very much Aries. But honestly, embrace that. Aries are great, and they're honestly solid rocks to like hold on to.
Sure.
It's great.
I'm proud of being an Aries for sure.
Good. And Vivienne, what was her sign?
She was Gemini.
I mean, do we even need to do research? A Gemini, you got there. I mean, of course she was a Gemini. The chaos that you talked about, the definition of Gemini.
Sure.
Just the polarization, the insanity, all that kind of stuff. Some people do work out with Geminis. It's rarely when I hear Gemini, I'm like, I'm
crazy
sorry.
Bitch.
I don't know if we can even go on a second date. My brother's a Gemini and he married a Gemini, which is so let's see if an Aries could work with a Gemini. And we go to the most reputable site to learn about astrology, and that is Brandon, Google.com.
Hello.
And we will just type in Aries and Gemini love compatibility.
Oh boy.
And we'll see.
Aries and Gemini love Cam. Okay. That's just porn, Brandon. That's just porn.
Great. So we just read straight up right there. The combination Aries and Gemini is huge. And in terms of communication and bonding, the two seem to hit it on a high note every time. From the point of view that Aries has, the actual catch in this match is that there is a certain passion in an Arian, and that is stabilized by dualistic nature of a Gemini. Wow.
I think that the dualistic was, I guess, if it's too extreme or imbalanced, that's when I guess it would be destabilizing. Because my girl did have a dualistic nature, very much so, but so much so that it was destabilizing as opposed to stabilizing. So
yeah, I think that's what I was saying is like an Aries, you're like very rooted and strong. Right. But the chaos that this Gemini was, she might be a Gemini, like a triple Gemini, which means you're a Gemini moon, and a Gemini rising. Wow, and then you don't have a chance in hell in being if that's what I'm sorry, the stars handed you something you can't. And then we have the last segment, which is Brandon.
Yes, honey. Yes.
I love it.
This
is the real podcast. Is this part?
Mm-hmm. So this is 3 compliments, Morgan. This is where you give me 3 compliments, so I don't feel so shitty about my life. And then we get you out of here. So go for it.
How about I give you 4? Huh? How about that?
Oh,
Morgan, he's gonna. When I first saw you, I didn't know. I always assume a white girl is not funny. But you went up, and the first thing that struck me was. I think you were my age, maybe a little younger, but your bits you had the writing ability down already. Everything was so structured, and I was a guy who was just so like, look at so I always looked at somebody with structure and an ability to string together, a large bit as fascinating back in the day, because I just had no ability to do that. I was just all energy with no dynamics, no push and pull, no understanding of what actually energy is, and I was just loud and brash. And I saw you, and I was like, fuck yeah, this person has locked in a style that actually has scaffolding in it. I love that about you immediately. Super cute, good vibes. Loved, just like, when you were angry, it'd be like, well, everyone's angry. Well, you were always angry when everyone else is angry. So who was having a good time then? But, before the mic started, always a fresh energy, super cute, super fun, like down to play in the bit, you know what I'm saying? You also don't laugh at everything. You laugh at things you think are funny, which I appreciate. Some people laugh at everything, and you're like, you're just so sad that you have to laugh at everything. But, you know what I'm saying? But a true comic, a true lover of the comedic arts will only laugh at something they think is funny. But when they do laugh, it's with their soul. Yeah. It's a very important thing about a good comic is have the discerning energy. But also when you do find something funny, give it your all. Don't be a fucking egotistical bitch who doesn't understand how to see a funny thing when they see it. Because like we're funny people. It's like a little Illuminati. It's like real funny people know real funny people. It's like a very nobody talks about it. It's on any blogs because those people aren't funny. But like the people who are funny, it's like I know the way you think. It's that weird twist that you can just immediately know. Like, even if you don't like the person's comedy per se, you know the person's funny. It's a way. It's an outlook. It's a point of view. It's a style of life. So I always love that about you as well. You just kind of your mind was in the right click, the dial. And you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that.
Yeah.
Also, you had fucking great shoe game. Your fucking shoe game was always fire, dude. Always hit the right white high top. Always hit the right jeans. Your jeans always fit the right way. It was hot. I'll even go there. I'll even say you were hot.
No one has commented on my sneaker game, and you don't understand how
it was great. Trust
that
me, I know.
makes me feel.
I know.
I mean, I have a sneaker problem, and yes, it is always matching my outfit, and it is on point. Thank you for noticing. Oh my god!
And also, you wear the right jeans for the sneaker. That's also a thing that nobody talks about. But yeah, you fucking got it.
Wow! Oh wow! I mean, they and you know what? I always do feel like really self-indulgent, a little bit bad after this segment, but this one I don't because you so nailed the shoe game thing that I'm like, the world must know. The world must know, and I love it. Oh, you're the best. You're so wonderful. Thank you for
much love.
So much love. You've been awesome. You've been wonderful. Before you go, where can we find you on social media?
Follow me at Usama Stands Up, formerly known as Usama Bin Laden. Networks. So it's Usama Stands Up, USAMA STANDSUP. Follow me on podcast with my boy Pranav. It's called We Are Mango Bae, YOURMANGOBAE. It's a wild podcast about wild shit. We have fun.
Great. We'll plug those in down here. All right. Well, it was so good to see you. You're the best, buddy. Love you so much. I hope to see you soon. And thanks again for being on the show.
Have a good day, bro.
All right, you guys. That's Usama Siddiquee. Oh, what a joy. What a wonder. What is anyone who knows my sneaker game is on point? We are fucking in it. That is my boy. I love it. So that's it. That's another episode of Famously Dumped. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Famously Dumped.